Hello, and welcome to the Stupid Sequels podcast, where we find truly terrible movies and give them all the attention they don't deserve. Each episode will discuss exactly what made such a horrible sequel, from casting to budget to just plain bad writing. While we all love a great movie, there's something just a little more fun about watching a seriously stupid sequel. Now, while there are plenty of awful sequels out there, we have a few guidelines about the kind of movies we'll be reviewing here. We're talking about direct-to-video, made-for-TV, never appeared in a theater sequels. The ones the studios gave up on before they even started. This week, my guest is Michelle, and we will be discussing Belle's Magical World, the sequel to Beauty and the Beast, which is the sequel to the midquel, the Enchanted Christmas Adventure, but also still a prequel to the second midquel. Hi, Michelle.
Hi. I like to call them in-betweequels.
Yeah. Canonically, this falls after the Christmas midquel, but before the other midquel, Belle's Tales of Friendship.
Right.
Good God.
I appreciate Belle in all media. I'm butthurt that I just started playing Kingdom Hearts 3, but I don't think she's in it. And, I want her in all media. This is terrible. And I remember going into it to watch it. I was like, this is horrible. But then I watched it and I was like,
it's still cute.
I still like it.
Legit, the Enchanted Christmas one. I'm like, it's awful.
It's so awful.
But I still love that as long as there's Christmas song. It's Bernadette Peters and Alan Cumming.
You can't.
Not Alan Cumming, Tim Curry. How do you not love that?
You have no heart.
Is the animation horrible? Yes. Is the plot nonsensical? Yes. Is it still Disney? Yes. Is it still Paige O'Hara?
Yes. Is everyone both off model? Yes. Are the characters not really their essence? Correct.
Was the goal to have Belle's eyes going in two directions at any given point?
Yes.
She is cockeyed the entire movie.
Poor thing. Bless her heart.
Oh my God. Okay, so the original Beauty and the Beast got a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. This got a 17. So a 77% difference. That feels about right.
Mm-hmm.
So the original came out in 1991 with a budget of $25 million, and it made $425 million at box office. The sequel came out in 1998, which is after the 1997 Christmas special, before the 1999 TV special. So in the original, the music was done by Alan Menken and Howard Ashman and Tony Award-winning, Oscar-winning amazingness. This is by Harvey Cohen. He did the music for Sabrina the Teenage Witch, All Dogs Go to Heaven, and Sex and the City.
Huh?
That's a career? What?
So the first thing that comes to mind when you said Sabrina the Teenage Witch, I'm like, ooh, Beauty and the Beast connection. Because Sabrina's dad is played by Robbie Benson.
That's right.
And he directed a bunch of episodes. And I met him once.
There's weird things where I'm like, is that how they know each other? I wonder. That Jennifer Aniston's ex-husband now was in Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. That was his first movie, Justin Theroux. And I'm like, did Lisa Kudrow introduce Jennifer Aniston to Justin Theroux via Romeo and Michelle? Probably not, but it'd be funny. So a lot of the main cast returned. Paige O'Hara as Belle, Robbie Benson as the Beast, David Ogden Stiers as Cogsworth, Jerry Orbach as Lumiere, Joanne Worley as Armoire. The new people are Gregory Grunt as Chip, Kimmy Robertson as Fifi. She's from Twin Peaks. Frank Welker, he's Fred from Scooby-Doo. He's in The Lion King. He's the voice of Megatron. He's Nibbler on Futurama. Frank Welker is an amazing voice actor. He is the footrest.
Oh.
He's amazingly talented. Voice actor is the footrest.
His lines are bark.
Yep.
Bark, bark.
Yep. Jeff Bennett is Crane, the Pages. He's Petrie from Land Before Time and Kowalski from Penguins of Madagascar. Rob Paulson, who is Raphael from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Carl on Jimmy Neutron is La Plume. April Winchell is Chandelira, and she's Cruella in 101 Dalmatians, the animated series.
I forgot about that show completely until this moment.
And Jim Cummings, who is just Disney, the voice of name a thing. He's done it. He's Darkwing Duck. He's Tigger and Pooh. He's the Tasmanian Devil. He's the singing voice of Scar. Is Webster the Dictionary. And Angela Lansbury is This is the only one she wasn't Mrs. Potts. The only one. She did all the other dumb mid-quotes. Just Angela Lansbury's like, pass.
She was like, I have standards. They're low, but I have them.
But here's the issue. We'll get into it later, but basically, did you watch the 90-minute version of this that includes Mrs. Potts' party?
Yes.
Okay. So when it was originally released, it was just the 2 segments, and there was no Mrs. Potts thing, because Mrs. Potts was released as Tales of Friendship. But when they re-released this in 2004, they re-released it with Mrs. Potts stories, making it 92 minutes, and Angela Lansbury did do Tales of Friendship. So it's not Angela Lansbury for 2/3 of it, and then for Mrs. Potts' party, it is Angela Lansbury.
Oh.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
Yeah. So we did the big discussion of the original Beauty and the Beast and Enchanted Christmas, but I think we have to do it again.
I'm fine with that.
It's Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And now we can talk about the Emma Watson one.
So much forehead. There was so much forehead in that movie.
So much no singing.
So much no smiling or enjoyment or joy.
And I was just like, okay, they're like, we're going to do more songs that was in the movie. So I'm like, okay, so do we get Human again or A Change in Me? No.
Do we get Home? Do we get If I Can't Love Her?
No. We get a dumb song about looking out a door, and he runs through approximately 35 doors in that song. Look at the door. I'm looking out the door. She's out the open door. I'm like, I get it.
Open
She's
the
out
window,
door.
close the door. Belle's not here anymore.
Oh my God.
It's like a little summary.
Oh, it's so... Like, they cut pretty much every song that won them a Tony.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, we're going to put in our own ones. I'm like, cool.
Well, even Alan Menken sounded kind of bothered. He was like, here's Beauty and the Beast 3.0. I keep writing songs for it. And, like, I feel like Evermore was just like, just give me another Oscar. Like, it was so...
Like,
look,
here. Like, it's the equivalent of, like, a Holocaust movie. Like, it's here. You know it's gonna win. But, like, we've done it already.
Yeah.
You know how it's gonna go. Like, oh my God, sweeping orchestrations and great lyrics. Like, it's... Yeah.
yeah.
It's Menken.
I feel, yeah, Alan Menken, I mean, look, the man
God
can
bless
do
him.
no wrong.
He's amazing.
He's amazing. He has a heated floor in his home for his turtles.
What the fuck?
Why is he the best?
I love Alan Menken.
He's just adorable. I love him so much.
Yeah, but he did not do the music for this one, sadly. I mean, the music in the original is just, like I still... Like, when I saw the remake, when I heard the music for Be Our Guest, like, the little, like, child in my heart was like, ha-ha! Like, the music still gets you.
Oh, yeah, the overture, like, I remember listening to the album when it first released and, like, just listening to the sweeping orchestra. It was so gorgeous, and it's like, we're gonna go on this adventure with this girl. Some friends become enemies, some enemies become friends, and we're richer for the experience.
Awesome.
And then we got auto-tune.
And, like... And that's what a lot of people have been saying. Like, if we're gonna start casting celebrities in movies again, we gotta bring back dubbing.
Yeah.
Where, like, we had... And Ming-Na Wen is amazing, but she was dubbed by Lea Salonga in Mulan. Mm-hmm. B.D. Wong.
Tony Award-winning B.D. Wong.
Who played Shang, is dubbed by Johnny Osmond. Get fucked.
Oh, by the way, he's totally the peacock on The Masked Singer. Can we talk about that? Do you watch The Masked Singer?
I'm trying so hard not to.
It's such the guiltiest of pleasures.
Well, it's, like, not fair because they, like, pre-record and auto-tune their singing. They're like, who could it be? I'm like, well, under the 30 layers of auto-tune, who gives a fuck? But, so you know it's, like, ripped off a Japanese game show?
Yeah, yeah.
So they were showing, they're like, okay, this is what got Masked Singer over here. So basically, it is a lot of, like, Japanese celebrities who do it. And so it's, like, the costumes are way less done up. It's just, like, a Halloween costume and a cape. And you hear, and it's clearly a male singer, and he's, like, in all, like, pink, and he's a unicorn. And he's singing The Sun Will Come Out from Annie, like, so earnestly. And they're like, we think... And they're naming all of these, like, Japanese celebrities. They're like, nope, completely wrong. Pull it off. Ryan Reynolds. I'm like...
Pikachu?
What? And they're, like, losing their minds. And so it's like, yeah, so that's exciting. But it's like, oh, it's... Is it Tori Spelling?
It was Tori Spelling. She was a unicorn.
It's
she was awful, but I love her.
But it's
so.
like, oh, a bunch of, like, C-list celebrities who couldn't get on Dancing with the Stars, warbling their way through the Pop 40 tunes when we auto-tune them to death.
Yay. Like, if motherfucker, if it's like, oh my god, who's the unicorn? Oh my god, Meryl Streep? Like,
I'd be here for
then it blows your face off. But they're like, it could be anybody. I'm like, it's anyone who has detox tea on their Instagram. I'm gonna just clue you in real quick.
She's savage, but she's right.
Like, it's not gonna be anybody. It's gonna be sad celebrities at the end of their career.
I wish it was like Lee. Which one's the Helmsworth? Which one's the Thor's Helmsworth?
Chris.
He was on like Australia's Dancing with the Stars. Like,
Yes.
that's a star.
Yeah.
I would dance with Lin-Manuel Miranda, or like if you had like stars on these shows.
But stars don't have time.
Well, fine.
Yeah.
Sad face.
Well, that was like the one season of Dancing with the Stars. I'm so sorry, you guys were so distracted. I tried to get into was Lisa Vanderpump from The Real Housewives is going to be on.
I love her so much.
But she just cold passed out in the middle of rehearsals and was like, I have to withdraw. I'm too stressed because she was still trying to run her 3 restaurants
and save every dog in the world
while doing the show. And she's like, I fucking can't. And she just like bounced, and everyone's like, she ducked out because she wasn't a good enough dancer. It's like she passed out on the floor. Like, dude,
the slack should be cut for her. Plus, she loves doggies.
So, Beauty and the Beast, the original, was nominated for Best Picture, but lost to Silence of the Lambs, which I'm like, wow.
Which, can we just, like, the politics in Hollywood, it basically was just like, we don't want to give it to an animated film.
And the fact that even the Oscars now are like, oh, there's Best Film and there's Best Animated Film. I'm
right, like because of
no.
because of Beauty and the Beast, they created that category.
Yeah,
like,
because they didn't want to give an animated movie it's stupid.
It's so stupid. Off. And it's like, but it's like this horrible tradition of like, when Walt was like, I'm making Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, they were like, people are going to pass out watching animation for that long. I'm like, you need to calm down.
I mean, they also said that women couldn't go on high-speed trains because they believed if a woman moved at that high speed to read, her uterus would leave her body.
Goodbye.
Like,
I can't handle
like,
that.
If we strap her to the top of the train. No, like, if a woman is standing in a train and a train goes 80 miles per hour, her uterus will just leave her body. I'm like, y'all are stupid.
First of all, if that happened, then I wouldn't have to buy birth control ever again, and I'd be like, I'm fine with this. But also, what?
Men are stupid. Belle is the first brown-haired princess. And it is the first Disney feature to use 3D CGI moving animation for the ballroom. But their dancing is traced from Sleeping Beauty.
At the end.
At the end.
Just at the end, because they were running out of time.
They're like, oh shit, trace.
Yes.
And just my personal favorite, it's like a DVD thing. And so Paige O'Hara is doing the part where like she thinks the Beast is dead. And she's like, oh no, come back. And she's like sobbing. And they like were like, and finish the line. They're like, cut. They're like, are you okay? She's like, acting. Like, just like, I'm Paige O'Hara. Get fucked. Like,
get lit, bitches.
Actress. So there was a mid-quel planned where it was supposed to be Gaston's younger brother, Avignon, was supposed to like come to the castle and seek revenge. And they were like, wait, that's stupid.
But this one makes way more sense with the talking mitts.
Oh, the talking oven mitts. I wanted Belle to like put her hands in them and be like, I'm talking for you. We'll get to it. And so this was originally released in 1998 at 70 minutes, but then in 2003, not 4, they re-released it with the Mrs. Potts Party thing added to it, making it 92 minutes, making it the longest direct-to-video Disney sequel. 92 minutes.
I mean,
bitch.
So I guess yay?
It's so long. So long. Oh, and we're about to get into it. We're about to go into the intro. It opens with the CGI storybook being opened. It was the first Disney movie to open and close with a storybook since Sleeping Beauty. Oh, so they've had other Disney movies where it opens with the storybook, but then at the end the book doesn't close. Like The Jungle Book has done it, and a couple of
Sword in the Stone.
Tangled did it, I think. It opens with the storybook, but the book doesn't close at the end. So first one where the book opened and closed since Sleeping Beauty.
You're welcome, Disney.
Boom. And so basically the CGI book is like, we're gonna set up like the first 40 minutes of the movie. So there's this girl, she's Belle, she's hot, she comes to a castle. Oh my god, a beast, with roses, love. You get it. Anyway, up to speed. Like, you guys get it. And it opens with the first segment, which is called The Perfect Word. I will have discussions about what the word is. Bird's the word. No, that's the third segment.
She's funny because there's a bird.
There's the bird. So Cogsworth is lighting chandelier. Can I say they just got lazy?
Yeah, so that was the first thing that bothered me, because Lumiere, like, can control, like, when he's in the ballroom in the original, like, because the original we'll say is, like, the Bible, that's what we're going for. It's
canon.
That's, like, super canon. Like, so with Lumiere, in the ballroom, he can dim the lights, both his lights and the lights around. He says he can provide lights, so why is Cogsworth lighting chandelier?
And chandelier can't light herself. But no, I was also just saying, like, okay, like, Cogsworth sounds like a last name that someone could have. Lumiere is a name that someone might have. Mrs. Potts. Yeah, okay, if your last name is Potts, that's fine.
Jennifer Potts.
Yeah.
I went to high school with her.
There's no fucking bitch who's named Chandeliera who, like, oops, I got turned into a chandelier.
What was her job beforehand?
Hard of hearing housemaid?
Right? So I always... And this is not canon, this is just my own Michelle logic, but, like, I always figured things without faces weren't people. They're enchanted.
Yes, because they did say, like, wait, when, like, all the plates are, like, spinning and, like, smashing, like, is each one of those, like, a person? It's like, no, it's just enchanted. Like,
just go with it.
Every napkin is not a fucking person.
Right.
Like, that's insane.
Also, if you're going to suspend disbelief that a man can turn into a beast, you can't suspend disbelief that a fork is just a fork. That's magic.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Because there's some horrible implications otherwise.
Yeah.
Horrible.
But so anything with eyes, I'm like, okay, well, that was a person. So chandelier. And I'm like, what was your job previous to this?
Yeah.
Like, what? I don't.
Yeah. I don't know. And just, like, the other characters will get to their names. I'm like, that only makes sense as their name after they were transformed, bitch.
Yeah. It's not like, this is Karen. She's our mirror cleaner. She's a rag.
Yeah. It's like, this is our friend, Mirarwa. Oh no, she got turned into a mirror.
Whoa.
Wouldn't it be funny if, like, chandelier was a mop? She's like, son of a bitch! I've had this dumb fucking name my whole life. And I didn't even turn into a chandelier.
Well, in the Broadway musical, they talk about, like, Jacques turns into a brick wall because he was dumb as a brick.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, it's like, oh, okay, well, people had normal names too, but, like, in the in-betweequels, they are like, chandelier.
Hi, my name is Bookaroo. My name is Penny.
My name is Toilet.
Oh, his name is Bidet. It's France.
Goodbye.
So Chandelier, she's so funny because she can't hear what you're saying. So, like, if you say, like, irony, she's like, what about the ironing? It's so funny.
I feel like some misunderstandings are about to be had.
Good God. Okay, and if you guys can hear that, it is pouring rain. I only have so much control over the sound. So that rushing you hear in the background, just this real quick, that's just rain pounding on my roof. I only have so much control.
I thought you were going to say, I only have so much control over the weather. I was like, you do?
So the Beast is talking to La Plume, the pen, and he's ordering wood for the castle. Which I'm like, okay, so this introduces a whole weird shit to canon, because food and supplies do have to get delivered to the castle. And he basically, the letter is like, Dear Town, send 40 cords of wood to the castle. Just drop them at the door.
Don't ask any questions.
And don't come inside. The abandoned castle needs this wood. And the Plume's like, because you said you did. And he's like, because I said I did. Signed, the Beast.
Yeah, sincerely gonna go out of our way not to say the Beast's name, which all 4 of these little vignettes go out of their way not to say his name.
Because they refer to him as the Beast. I'm like, can you imagine living with someone for, I'm guessing, a year plus? And be like, hi, the Beast.
Like.
And to every single motherfucker out there who's like, his name's not Adam. That was actually invented by the fans. I'm gonna pull up a little fucking piece of information right now. Michelle's gonna see it, and it is canonical.
I'm in love with you.
Fucking proof that his name is fucking Adam. You can fight me all you want, but it's true. I found it. It's proof. In the fucking DVD video game Wonderful World of Disney, there is a question. What is the prince's name? Is it Prince Adam, Prince John, Prince Eric, Prince Philip? And the correct answer, according to the Disney released fucking video game, is Prince Adam!
Boop, 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 boop.
suck a dick and fight me. I will post the screenshot of the video game online, and then you can all shut up. Anyway.
Well, we figured that out. So now we know his name officially. I haven't seen the screen cap of that, so I'm not even mad. I'm impressed.
I had to dig deep to find it.
That...
Because I said Adam in the Christmas one, and I was like, actually, shut the fuck up. So...
I like to call him the prince formerly known as Beast, a la Prince.
So there's some horrifying implications to what comes next. Because the pen is writing on a piece of paper, and the piece of paper is on a stack of papers, and the piece of paper that it's written on curls up independent of itself and ties itself in a ribbon. And then the remaining stack of papers, like, ties ribbon around itself, and the ribbon becomes its face. And it's like, aha, wrote a letter. So the page separates from him, and it's still animated when it separates from him. And then a stack of papers, is a consciousness?
Yes.
What happens when the stack of pages runs out? Does each of those pages have their own consciousness and personality?
Oh.
Like, the fucking bird, the carrier pigeon that carries the piece of paper weight is the piece of paper like, I'll never see the castle again. I hope the person who gets this letter doesn't, like, wipe his ass with me.
I hope I don't end up in a fire. Goodbye.
Oh, because later on, pages burn!
Yeah.
It's horrifying. And,
there's a lot of murder in this film.
If they stack the piece of paper on top of, like, a stack of, like, 400 pieces of paper, does he then, like, absorb that into his consciousness?
That's
or, like,
what I wonder.
Is he 100 pages, and when those 100 pages are gone, he's dead? Like, is he actually the ribbon? Is he the paper? It's horrifying.
So many questions.
It's horrifying. His name is Crane.
Which I don't understand.
Me either.
Is that, like, a paper crane?
Oh my god.
Is that...
It is.
No?
That's it.
That doesn't seem right, though.
I mean, that's the only thing that can make sense.
Or was there a paper company named Crane?
Maybe.
I
don't know. So they send off this order for firewood via carrier pigeon, and the Beast is like, I want Belle to come to lunch, but I want her to like me and stuff. And Lumiere's like, you gotta just, like, woo her, like, kiss her on the hand, tell her she's pretty. And Belle is walking with Cogsworthy. She's like, yeah, things are getting, like, a lot better. Like, he's a lot more, like, calm isn't the right word. And then we hear, like, this, like, snooty ass voice in the corner being like, serene, tranquil, da-da-da. And they meet Webster the dictionary.
Get it? Because it's Webster's dictionary, and he's a dictionary, so his name is Webster.
This takes place approximately in the 1740s, according to the internet. Webster's dictionary was not released until 1828.
There's another...
Just saying.
There's another moment of that to come.
Oh. I was like, that don't track, bitch.
Uh-huh.
And also, like, it's not a French thing. It's a New Orleans... Get into it.
Yep. Oh, going back to the pigeon, was it just me or did the pigeon look like a reject from Animaniacs?
Oh, fully.
Yeah.
Fully. The pigeon, like, looked like it should be able to talk, but then didn't. It was like, and then just, like, carried off the letter. Like, because they call for it by name, and it just, like, bops in the window. It's like, hey. And, like, I don't know how it knows where to go. Like, it's
no directions were given.
Just, here's this letter. Bring us supplies. It works. So Belle is at dinner, and she's like, oh my god, I read this really interesting book. It's called Cinderella. I'm like, you're so basic sometimes, Belle.
I know. Even in, like, the new movie, the Emma Watson movie, it's like, I like Romeo and Juliet. Like, oh god, come on.
That's not even the best of Shakespeare's plays.
Right, like...
Shakespeare would roll his eyes at you.
Yeah, you basic.
You basic.
Because, like, in the Broadway musical, they're reading King Arthur, which kind of makes sense. Like, she likes fantasy and...
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I said that makes sense. I guess it doesn't. But, like, King Arthur, because he...
Yeah.
Because Beast would like it, too, because adventure, and she would like it because
loyalty
romance.
And, yeah.
But they're like,
She's like, today I read Jack and the Beanstalk.
It's so good.
I read a storybook called Jack and Jill. Belle, I think, like, you're, like, the smartest girl in town because you can read, but I think you might be reading at, like, a 3rd grade level.
Yeah. She basic.
She basic. So she's telling him the story of Cinderella over dinner, and the okay, I didn't understand this fight. So chandelier is, like, lowered down to the table, and Lumiere's like, it's too bright in here. And she's like, I can't hear you. I'm too white, or there's something wrong with my height. And he's like, no, you're too bright. And she's like, and she keeps lowering herself to hear him. And the beast is overheating. Is he overheating because the chandelier is nearby?
Oh, I didn't think of that.
He's literally like sweating in his clothes.
Yeah, I just figured it's because he's a very furry beast who's also wearing pants and a button-up shirt.
Yes. And so he's like, Cogsworth, I'm like fucking dying. Can you open the window? Oh my god. The sky opened up. The ark is coming. Pray for us. Holy shit.
It is seriously raining. Goodbye.
It's gonna sound like this whole episode is taking place underwater, guys. I'm sorry.
We should have done Little Mermaid.
I'm doing that next. Not next, but it's coming up.
Which one? Have you done 2 already?
I've done 3, which is the Belle's Magical Beginning. Or
Ariel's
New Beginning. So I'm doing Return to the Sea.
God, there's so much cringe in that. It like hurts my body to watch it.
Oh, I truly and deeply love the TV show though.
Me too.
I love it so much.
But what makes
the one where she meets the deaf mermaid who does sign language. I love it.
So many feels. I love that, and I appreciate and like this because this was supposed to be like the pilot for the Beauty and the Beast TV show.
Yes.
So like I appreciate it if like I was watching an episode of Little Mermaid, I would love to see like Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast TV show, but like as a movie.
And that's how most of these come together. Is they try to make a TV show. Oh wait, we don't like this. Take the first 3 episodes, jam them together into a movie, and it doesn't work. So he's like, I am dying. Cogsworth, will you like crack a window? He's like, yes, but then it will get cold.
He's like, I give no fucks.
One would hope. That's why I'm asking you to do it. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he's like, I'm sorry, I'm dying. And he's like, crack a window anyway, I don't care. And Belle's like, people are getting cold. And the dishes are shivering.
Mm-hmm.
This is important. The dishes are shivering because they're alive in some capacity. And she's like, Beast, some people are getting kind of cold. And he's like, if they're too cold, they can leave. But, like, I'm dying. And she's like, no, you're being really rude. Like, we're your guests. I'm like, okay, also Belle's fucking annoying in this.
Yeah.
Belle's being a goddamn dumbass.
She's a little too mom, and I hate when they write her like that. Like, in the original movie, she was never like mom. She was like, we are equals. You just happen to be a beast.
Yeah.
But like in all these in-betweequels, she's always like, I know what's best because I'm Belle.
And I'll do what I want, and if you don't, then you're a dumbass. I hate it. I hate it. So she's like, you're not being very congenial. And he's like, huh? And the dictionary is like, a rude fucker.
And then he like slaps him across the room.
Yeah, which like that's an act of violence. That's a little scary.
I'm like, haven't you learned anything? Like, maybe be nicer. This is the whole thing that got you in trouble with the Enchantress. Maybe don't hit nobody.
Don't smack nobody.
I'm just throwing that out there.
So Belle's like, you're being really rude, and he loses his mind at rude. I'm like, really?
That was your trigger?
And she's like, picks up the dictionary and she's like, well, I'm out of here. I don't want to have dinner with you anymore. And Beast flips the table and all of the dishes shatter. The dishes are alive.
The dishes that were cold 5 minutes ago, who have some sort of consciousness or nervous system.
Dead.
Yeah.
They're dead. Also, like, being a plate that's alive being eaten off of with silverware that is also alive is just... Like, you're putting a spoon in your mouth and, like, the spoon wiggles a little bit, like,
You're like, oh,
you're cutting your meat too hard and the plate screams in agony.
Oh, sorry, Charlie.
It's so gross. So Belle's like, I'm not gonna leave my room. Cogsworth, Lumiere, and Potts are like the little trio, and they try to go to the Belle to get her to apologize, and she's like, I'll apologize if he apologizes first. And they go to him, and he's like, I will apologize when I'm dead in the ground. Get fucked.
They're having, I love this moment because it's so dramatic. Like, he's in the West Wing, like, roar, emo, ah, and she's like, I'm crying.
She has a single tear down her face. I was hilarious. But basically, and then Lumiere's like, Chandeliera, this is all your fault because you were trying to outshine me. And she's like, I couldn't hear you. And he's like, you've been using that excuse for years. And she like ascends to the ceiling crying. I'm like, what?
So many tears.
So Belle hears a knock at her door and like it's like da-da-da-da-da music, and she like fluffs her hair and like flips it all around and like runs to the door and opens it, and it's Cogsworth. And she's like, he still won't apologize. It's like, no, sorry. And So Potts, Lumiere, and Cogworth are like, they're never gonna fall. They're gathered around the rose, which I'm like, I would try and stay away from that thing.
Yeah, and also I think their entire special effects budget was spent on this one shot because there's some sparkles coming off the rose. I was like, oh, that was $20.
Yep.
Bye budget.
Each sparkle was $20. So they're like, oh no, like the rose petals are falling. They'll never fall in love now. And it's kind of the thing that the remake did that like grossed me out was like, oh no, we are trapping a bitch here so we can be free.
Yeah, I'm sorry, super sidebar. Can we talk about that part of the live action of like...
Where they lock her in the house?
Yeah, and she leaves through the dog door?
Yes.
And like, they try to save it because they're like, oh, we're locking you in here because it's so dangerous out there. And I'm like, no. You're locking her in here because you don't care about her.
And the whole thing is supposed to be, so her dad is in the cell. She comes, she's like, I will trade places with you. She goes in the cell. And the Beast is like, you can, like, have a bedroom. And she's like, you're not worried I'll run away? And he's like, you said you were a girl of your honor, and you were trading places to be with your dad. And he trusts her. That's the point, is he's like, yeah, you're my prisoner, but I trust you to not put you in a dungeon.
Yeah.
So then to have her fleeing, and have not even the Beast be like, don't let her get away, for the household to be like, I'm gonna be a fucking human again. Hold a bitch down. It's like, terrifying.
Yeah.
And then she only comes back to the house because the Beast is about to bleed out. She's like, guilt.
Yeah. And not even, so in the animated movie, she has that moment where you can kind of, I don't know how, on paper and pencil, you feel more emotion and you feel more, like, connection to the characters versus live action Emma Watson being like, a horse, I guess I will put him on it. And the like dialogue is really weird.
Well, because
but in that scene, and then all of a sudden he's getting in the castle, and then he's shirtless, and I'm so confused.
Well, it's so confusing because there's a moment where like she dead looks like, I could just run.
Yeah, bye.
And let him die. And she like considers for a little too long, then she's like, get on the horse. Like, oh, I could have let you die. I really could have, but whereas in the animated, like, he hit the ground and she's like, fuck, I guess I'm going back to the castle because I can't leave him.
And she says, like, a little prayer over her shawl, and it's, like, so sweet. She's like, you're...
So cute.
There's something about you. Gross.
Something in the wet. No. So they're like, well, if if they don't fall in love and the rose keeps falling, we're all going to stay objects forever. Also, that the movie, like, upped the thing of, like, no, we will stop even being animated objects. We'll just turn into objects permanently, which, like, I get, like, it put more of a ticking clock on shit, because supposedly in this one, like, he's been the Beast for a while, and it's like, we're immortal inanimate objects. Like, that's kind of cool. Like,
yeah. I'd
like,
be like, I don't want to bleed. I just want to be a cup.
Sorry,
I'm
we
good.
don't have to eat, sleep, or breathe. It's amazing. But also, like, when their lives are in danger, I'm like, are you really, though? Be smashed a plate. None of y'all seem concerned. So the book, pen, and paper, who are Crane, LaPlume, and Webster, are like, we're gonna fix it. So Webster dictates a letter, LaPlume writes it, the paper is also there. Chandelier wants to apologize to Lumiere, but he, like, won't come in the room where she's chained to the ceiling. So she can't apologize. And she's like, I just want to say that I'm sorry. So the pigeon drops off the letter, and Belle goes, a letter? I wonder who it's from. Oh, it's probably from your I'm going to do that again so I don't sound stupid. So Belle's in her room, and the pigeon drops off the letter, and Belle's like, oh, I wonder who it could be. Oh, it's probably from, like, your dad or Gaston. Or, who the fuck do you think's sending you a letter in the castle, Belle? The only other person with hands.
She's not wrong.
Duh. And she's like, oh my god, it's an apology letter. It's perfect. And she runs back to the Beast, and she's like, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad.
And he's like, I accept this apology because it's very standard for you to apologize to me, even though I totally overreacted and freaked out, and you
Belle's
called
like,
me rude.
And Belle's like, I was being stubborn and a fool, and it was all my fault. I'm like, what kind of fucking shit? Belle, who are you?
Who
like,
gaslit her? Like, what just happened?
She's like, I was being petty. I'm like, in what way?
He murdered some plates and, like, viciously attacked a book. Like, you don't need to say you're sorry. He should be like, at standard, at the base minimum, he should be like, I'm sorry I let my temper get the best of me.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's all.
Yeah, she doesn't owe him an apology.
No.
He was being rude. She called him rude.
Yep. Just, Jesus Christ.
My favorite scene.
What is he eating?
Walnuts?
They're my favorite. The way he says it. So, Belle is sitting by the fire with Beast, and she's reading him some
What
story.
story is that?
I have no idea. It sounded like Pride and Prejudice, because it's like, the circumstances of her birth had prevented her from... I'm like, what is she reading? And the Beast is eating brown something.
Brown nuts? Brown balls.
But they are crunchy, and he's, like, chewing with his mouth open, like, as loud as she can. And, like, every time he starts to chew, Belle's like, and she's like, I'm sorry, I can't read when you're chewing that nut. He's like, but they're my favorite. No joke, he says it like that.
Definitely,
I don't
100%.
know why. And she's like, well, maybe you could eat them later?
Uh-oh.
And the whole room's like, oh, fuck, it's about to go down. And he's like, yeah, I could. And
Okay.
he sets him down. And she's like, see, like, you're getting so much better. Like, ever since I read your letter, I knew you were good. And he's like, the fuck you talking about?
What letter, bitch?
And she's like, the letter you wrote to me. And the Plume, Crane, and Webster are like, boop, 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 boop.
Got a
and
blast.
hide. And Belle's like, I have the letter. And Beast is like, let me see it. And she shows him the letter. And she goes, it was written on your stationery by your pen. And he goes, yeah, it's a forgery. You wrote it.
What?
She wrote an apology letter to herself and then brought it up to you?
Mm-hmm. That all seems logical. Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
No. And I like that instead of just being like, yeah, I didn't say I'm sorry, I'll just take credit for someone else's work, it's fine. He's like genuinely butthurt that this entire thing is even happening. Like, how dare you think I said I'm sorry? I would never say I'm sorry for table flipping.
And then Mrs. Potts goes into the library and is like, y'all three need to own up. Like, you gotta. So the Beast is running around the library he's not finding them yet. Oh no, he is. The three of them come into Belle's bedroom and they're like, we wrote the letter. And the Beast just takes off after them.
Yeah.
He's gonna tear them to shreds.
Again, the theme of this movie is murder.
Okay, there's like a horrifying moment in Beauty and the Beast where Fifi the feather duster is attacking someone and he grabs her and just starts ripping her feathers out. That like horrified me as a child.
Unless maybe she's getting like her legs waxed.
Like
maybe that's the
bikini waxed?
equivalent. I don't know.
Still not fun.
No.
But and then La Plume is a feather, so I'm like, do all the feathers have sentience? It's horrible.
Oh, the girl with the pearl earring
Uh-huh.
Painting is in the original movie right outside her bedroom, and it's in this too. It looks much crappier, but
They're
it's
probably
there.
traced.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you seen that meme where it's like there's a cat laying on a piece of paper and then like a little girl traces it and it's like the cat says like Greek mythology and then like the outline is like Roman mythology. I saw one that was like the cat Disney sequels outline. Disney direct-to-video sequel.
We did it.
Again, it's the same thing. No.
Nope.
So Belle finds him and she's like, why did you do this? So like, we just wanted you guys to make up and we knew he would never apologize first and like it was all working out. And the Beast is like, you're all banished and anyone caught trying to help them is also banished. I'm like, where are my anthropomorphic fucking living magical objects supposed to fucking go in the world?
Well, I was thinking like, why don't they just go to town and be like, hey, we're starting a circus. We are anthropomorphic. I can't say that word.
Anthropomorphic.
But
they're just like, let's go to town. I'm like, you're gonna get burned as witchcraft, motherfuckers. Like,
or become millionaires and buy out that castle from the Beast.
But they're like, where do we go? I'm like, fuck if I know. How is a piece of paper walking through the snow not dead?
Yeah, wouldn't he get wet and melt? Not melt, but like...
Disintegrate?
Yeah.
But Mrs. Potts is real worried and she's like, I should have said something because I knew they wrote the forgery and I didn't say anything. They think they've made it to town. They went in a whole circle. They're back at the castle. And just go walking straight in. I'm like, what? You know you can't go in there. But Belle's like, no. It's all my fault. I should have apologized first. This is all my fault. I'm like,
No.
what the fuck, Belle?
No, girl, no.
No, it's not.
That's the thing I liked about her, like, to begin with, is, like, she knew, like, when he is at the castle door, or her bedroom door being like, come to dinner, and even, like, it would give me great pleasure if you would join me for dinner. She's like, no, thank you. Like, I'm not falling for your crap. Like,
No.
why all of a sudden is
Don't
she,
gaslight
like...
me, bruh.
Right, now she's like, it's totally my fault, you guys.
So
Spoiler alert, it's not.
Belle goes outside and she's like, well, I'm going to bring you in the house, even though he said he'd kill you if he saw your faces again, and I'm sure he'll forgive you because I'm really good at getting him to forgive people.
Mm-hmm. It's my superpower.
Girl, you can't get him to apologize for anything. So she sets them by the fire, and the Beast comes in, and he apologizes to Belle and the book gang.
And then he gets irrationally happy.
He's like, that was easy. Apologizing makes me feel good inside.
I'm pretty sure it's his heroin. He is, like, lit. He is like, I'm gonna apologize to everyone. You get an apology. You get an apology. You get an apology.
And Lumiere's like, oh my god, I should go fucking apologize. And then, like, outside the room, he's like, fuck that bitch. So Mrs. Potts is like, you need to go oh, no, Chandelier, we're all gonna come in here, and the boys are gonna tell us about their adventure. The 3 hours they wandered in the snow?
Around the castle?
They're like, we saw wolves! I'm like, no, you didn't.
We saw snow. Yeah, we all see snow.
And she's like, and Lumiere's gonna be there, and y'all can apologize together, it'll be all chill. And Lumiere's like, so you, and she's like, I apologize. And she's like, so you admit you were trying to outshine me? He's like, no, I lower myself because I work well with you. And then he gets all like, I'm so sorry, and they're cool.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't get exactly what they were mad about or apologizing for.
Nope. But I don't know if you know this. The theme of this vignette is forgiveness.
Oh, we're about to get there. We're about to get there.
I'm looking at my notes and I'm excited because I know what happens next.
So Belle and the Beast and the gang are all sitting watching the sunset, and they're like, wow, you know, we're all here to enjoy this day together, and it was all fixed with a single word. Now, I would think that single word would be sorry.
Mm-hmm.
No, but the single word, and the dictionary goes, forgiveness.
We've never said that word in this episode.
We
have, but...
You've said apologize.
Yeah. We've danced around it, but we actually haven't said it.
And they're like, well, we should leave Belle and the Beast to, like, enjoy the sunset together. And then the most fucking confusing scene. They walk out. There was still snow all over the ground. And I'm going to recite it word for word. It's warm now. Soon it will be spring. Beautiful. What?
That is how romance is. That is love in a nutshell.
It's warm now. Soon it will be spring. Beautiful.
And that's how they fell in love.
It's warm now.
Soon it will be spring.
Beautiful.
A butterfly landed on her hand at one point, but... And then this is the thing that pisses me off more than anything. And even if it was a convention of the TV show, I think it's stupid. Belle sings a song at the end that is unattached to the story because, like, as she's singing it, it, like, basically shows a summary of the episode we just watched with some additional shots of her feeding birds.
Yeah. And a shot of, like, going around a tree... Like, this is that song where, like, he's behind her. It's, like, Matrix style where it's, like, it was the late 90s. So they were, like...
They just discovered that technology.
They were like, ooh, we'll have someone stationary and we'll go around it. And then you see him and they're like, we're talking to each other.
Listen with our hearts. And they're like, we can all forgive each other if we listen with our hearts.
You're better than me because it's so forgettable to me. I remember nothing of that song.
It's completely disconnected from the episode. And it's like if the episode happened and, like, that song was sung over the credits at the end, I can maybe get it. But, like, why wouldn't Belle just sing it at some point during the episode? Like,
maybe when they're on the balcony, like, forgiveness is really great.
Yeah.
Let's go on a magic date.
You're really good at those. But no, it's super weird because, okay, if everyone's about to understand, I went on a Lindsay Ellis vidge the other day.
The queen.
I love her.
Me too.
So Beauty and the Beast is obviously full of diegetic songs, where the songs are canonically being sung in the room. Functionally, they are being sung.
I'm so excited that we're talking about it.
And this song is non-diegenic, which doesn't work.
Nope.
She's singing it in a... And it's not even like she's singing while she's feeding the birds. Like, her mouth is not moving, and it's, like, being sung above. It's like, forgiveness! And she's just, like, staring blankly into the sky. It's so dumb. Every single person, go on YouTube, watch anything Lindsay Ellis has ever done. Mm-hmm. She's my queen. And Lindsay Ellis, if you're listening to this, be on my podcast. Be on my podcast. Be on my podcast. I love you.
And let me come over, because I love you so much. I love her so much. She accurately, because I'm so tired of people being like, Belle suffers from Stockholm Syndrome. And she's like, nope, next video. I'm like, yes, queen, thank you. But then, like, she goes into it, but I'm like, thank you.
Did you watch her fucking video on Phantom of the Opera?
Of course. Of course.
The swig of wine and like goes to take another one and just like flips to a bottle of whiskey and then goes to and she like flips to a bottle of tequila. And
I love that she has like Funyuns. I'm like, yeah, she's yes.
Like, I wish I was dead. Phantom of the Opera.
It like, just sucks when you love something so much and then like you get that Phantom or like 2017 Beauty and the Beast and you're just like, it could have been so much better.
Because it's funny, because she's like, that is exactly the reason why I hated it, but I couldn't put it into words. Like, she put exactly, like, I'm like, this was bad and I hate it. Yeah, I can't tell you why exactly. Like, ooh, like, fucking Emmy Rossum can't sing. Like,
we all know.
But, like, and, like, the thing she explained of, like, there's no reason to do it this way just because they did it on stage. It's stupid. I'm like, it is. That is dumb.
Yep.
Like,
although my dad finally watched it, my mom like loves it, and my dad's like, Emmy Rossum has a beautiful voice. I'm like, how are we related?
The line in Lindsay Ellis's review is like, okay, I'm gonna review this. I'm not gonna say the things that everyone else is, which is that Gerard Butler can't sing, and Emmy Rossum sounds like every bitch from your high school choir.
That's what I'm saying.
She's not a bad singer. She's just aggressively
basic.
Average.
Yes,
she's aggressively average.
And my dad is marveled at this, and I'm like, you are. How are we related? This is my question.
Good God. Okay, to the second segment called Fifi's Folly, otherwise known as Fifi is a sociopath.
Yes. Again, the theme of this movie is murder. Because this, like, SSDGM, but, like, she accidentally almost murders herself. Like, there's... Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's real bad. This is Fifi's Folly.
Fifi's dusting.
And she's dizzy with love.
La, la, la,
she is the most aggressively French person in the castle.
Yeah, why? Her and Lumiere are the only people with French accents, which... Is that, like... Does that mean that they would have American accents? Like, if this was French?
I don't know. But they're both aggressively French. And she's like, it's the 5th anniversary of my first date with Lumiere. I'm like, it's been 5 years since I put a ring on it. Sad.
Yeah. Get with it. I mean, yeah, you haven't had fingers maybe for 5 years, but still.
Put a ring on her handle. The ring can be anthropomorphic. So she's like, oh, I bet we're gonna go on like a boat ride or like a sleigh ride. Like, he's gonna get me it'll be amazing. And Lumiere's like, it's the 1st anniversary of our 5th date. And Belle's like, 5th anniversary of your 1st date. And like, she's expecting everything. And he's like, fuck. So he's like, I'm gonna write down this great love speech to her. So he's writing it on a piece of paper, which is not Crane. Because he's a candle. He's a lit candle writing on a piece of paper.
We should let him near paper.
The paper catches on fire, blows to the top of a bookshelf. The books have been shown to be alive. And the library is on fucking fire.
So naturally, what you do is you call a bathtub to come and help you.
Not a bathtub, gravy boat.
Yes. So finally, after watching this movie since 98, I always was confused. I was like, why is there a bathtub? Well, now I know.
I think he's a bathtub until like the final shot of this episode when you see him next to Belle and you're like, oh, that's a gravy boat. Like, yeah. Cool.
Which sizing in this episode, again, like poor animation, like Cogsworth's size is always changing. I'm like, I give up. Like, I have no idea.
Like Lumiere is like knee high to Belle, and sometimes he's like ankle high. It's so confusing. So the teacups all come in, and they're being a teacup brigade of throwing water up, and they can't get high enough because it's like the very top shelf. And Belle walks by, and she's like, Mrs. Potts, come with me. The library is on fire, and Mrs. Mrs. Potts is like, but I have master's tea. And Belle's like, I think he'll fucking forgive us.
Yeah, his castle's on fire, bitch. We have priorities.
So she pours Mrs. Potts over the books, puts the fire out, and she's like, what the fuck, Lumiere? And he's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like trying to... I don't understand why this fire had to happen. Narratively, nothing.
Fill up time.
I guess. So Lumiere says to Belle, he's like, I was writing her a big speech, and she's like, you don't want to write her a speech. He goes, Belle, you know nothing about women.
Monsieur, I know a little.
I know a little.
I thought that was charming.
I am one.
I thought that... I found that to be endearing. My note says, heart, heart.
And so he like he's like, your lips are as red as the reddest rose that ever. She's like, that sounds rehearsed. And he's like, I can do love. I can't do sincerity. I'm like, that's a terrifying line.
Right.
That is a horrifying line of a sociopath.
Yeah, so everyone in this castle is a murderous sociopath. Belle, get out.
Belle, run. The beast is not the biggest monster in the castle.
The candlestick is.
So Belle's like, I'm going to help you. And Fifi overhears and basically thinks that Belle's trying to steal her man. I'm like, what could she do with a candlestick? Don't answer that.
Nope,
There's
don't
probably
answer.
something online that tells me.
And don't imagine. And don't Google.
Don't Google. He's hot wax. There's all sorts of horrible things that could happen.
There's la 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 la. This is me not imagining.
About it.
Nope.
So Lumiere tells Belle what the date was while also kind of semi-recreating it. He's like, so we went on a walk, and Fifi's like, they're going on a walk. And he's like, and then we, look at the fountain. They're looking at the fountain. Like,
she's stealing my man.
And then I serenaded her with a song. She's like, that's our song. I'm like, Fifi, I understand why you're mad, but also, like, read the room.
Right, like, and I like, fine, yeah, they're doing all this, but they're not doing romantic things. It's more like, this couch is where we made out for the first time. They're not making out.
Yeah.
And also, isn't the whole idea to get Belle to fall in love with the beast?
Yeah.
Like, why are you freaking out, girl?
She's a sociopath.
Yeah, she's crazy.
So, Belle is helping, like, write out the letter, or, like, write out the speech for Lumiere. And, Fifi's like, how are you doing, you wicked enchantress?
What'd you say?
Excuse me? She's like, nothing, you stupid vixen. I'm like, God damn. Like,
this took a turn.
yeah. So, Lumiere is trying to coordinate with the tuba. So, his weird method is, I want this to be a surprise. And by a surprise, I mean if Fifi walks into the room, I pretend like I can neither see nor hear her. So she's like, Mon amour, why are you talking to the tuba? And he's like, oh, look, Belle is here. And she's like, what the fuck, bitch? Like,
But I love the tuba. He's so cute.
he talks like this.
He is a tuba.
He talks really low. So Mrs. Potts finds a crying Fifi. And she's like, Lumiere doesn't love me anymore. And she's like, I don't think you know what the fuck you're talking about. So Lumiere is talking to the tub? Gravy boat?
Gravy boat tub. That is a great question. I actually don't know his
I'm
name.
gonna find his name. I bet I can. Do-do-do, boo-do-do, boo-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do.
When you wanna listen to a podcast, do-do-do-do-do-do. Listen to the Stupid Sequel Podcast. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Okay, so there's Tubaloo. I'm guessing that's the tuba.
Yeah. And then, Tubaloo, and then the...
Chef Bouche, Punch Bowl. His just name is Punch Bowl. There's one called Trace and another one called Chaude. Oh, those are the oven mitts. Tray and Chaude. Very hot! Their name is very hot! Oh my god. Concertina is the accordion. Eggabeater doesn't get a fucking name.
No, that was his name from birth.
Okay, so there's... Oh, so is he the Punch Bowl? His name is Punch Bowl. That's Jim Cummings.
Okay.
He's not a Punch Bowl. He's still... Whatever. So they're talking to the Punch Bowl. Mm-hmm. And they're like...
You should help us.
You should help us
have a sleigh ride, because if you don't, I know the master's been trying to get rid of some silver.
Like the beast threw his yard sale last week. What the fuck?
You gotta pay for that firewood.
And he freaks the fuck out. He's like, I'll do anything. I don't want to get kicked out into the snow. And so Fifi starts flirting with Cogsworth.
Gross.
She's like, that's the way to do it, is to make him jealous.
Literally in my note it says Fifi flirting with Cogsworth equals gross.
And also Cogsworth is gay.
Okay.
And Lumiere is his boyfriend.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now canon.
It is now canon. And so Cogsworth is like, a woman's talking to me. I don't like it. And Lumiere and Belle's like, we don't see or hear you.
Can't hear your cries for help.
So Lumiere straight turns himself into a welding thing. Like his frame like flips and like turns blue, and he's like welding skis to the punch bowl. What the fuck? And so they're discussing the details of the date, and she's like, over my dead body. Oh no, over Belle's.
Yeah.
So she goes into the barn where the punch bowl is waiting. The punch bowl is alive, people. And she brings the scissors, which are also alive, and tells the scissors to, like, cut 90% of the way through the sleigh reins, but not all the way. The punch bowl just sits there and lets this happen. And the scissors aren't like, why are we sabotaging a sleigh? The scissors are like, okay, do-do-do.
I do whatever you say.
And she calls her a vixen and a backstabber, and she's like, and I will leave the castle and you will never see me again. She's like a little tiny fur-lined cape.
Actually,
like,
it was pretty cute. I'm like, but where do you buy that?
who made a cape for a duster? I'm so confused.
Does Target sell that?
Yes. And so she goes to, like, walk out the door, and Lumiere's like, you're ready for our date? And she's like, our date? He's like, yeah, it's our anniversary, babe. And she's like, oh, okay. So, like, the band plays the little song, and they're sitting by the fountain, and she gets into the sleigh without saying, like, hey, Lumiere, does that tie look a little ripped to you?
Or
anything?
Maybe, I have a stomachache. I don't feel like being in a sleigh. Let's literally do anything else.
Punch Bowl's not like, she was here like an hour ago cutting through that shit. Like, nothing.
Mm-mm.
And like, so Sultan the Footstool is pulling the sleigh as fast as he can and like going around the sharpest turns possible. And like every time they go around a corner, Fifi's like, ah, and he's like, it's okay, babe, we're totally safe.
You're just scared because you're a lady. It's okay. I'm here to get you, babe.
And of course tears, and the tub goes shooting off down the snow in an act of non-physics like you wouldn't believe. It goes up a ramp. Does it go off the ramp? No, it cuts a sharp left on like two legs and is spinning. Also, since when do punch bowls have legs?
Yeah! That's why I thought it was a claw-tooth bathtub
So he
all
goes
these years.
careening off. They go over the edge, and like the arm of the punch bowl tub catches on a tree, and like Lumiere falls out but like snags himself, and like Fifi falls out and he like catches her. Belle sees all of this going down, and she's like, oh fuck.
She like, they hear the screaming, and Belle is like, Mrs. Potts, and she's like, yeah, what? They're screaming, and
what of it? So
she gives no fucks.
She gets like the whole gang to like run down, and Lumiere's like, well, I'm dangling by one arm holding the love of my life. I'll get out this piece of paper to read with my speech. And he's like, Fifi, you are, and it like blows out of his hand. He's like, no! I'm like, don't scream like that when your bitch is hanging by a thread. And he's like, Fifi, I just want to say to you. She's like, uh-huh. And he's like, just like, I want it. And she's like, mm-hmm. And he's like, I love you. And she's like, fucking finally. I'm like, has he not said I love you yet?
For 5 years? And also, he totally has Angelique as a side piece.
Oh,
so,
yeah, his Christmas side bitch.
Right. And Cogsworth, because, like, can you feel
Wartime gang.
love tonight?
And so just as he says I love you, Belle, like, throws the accordion down and, like, whips him back up instantaneously. Like, they're fine.
And also, I don't think that's how things work. I'm no scientist, but I'm not sure that's how gravity works.
No.
With, like, physics be damned. But the tuba is there, and that made me happy.
The tuba's there. And that's it. This one doesn't get a song.
Nope.
And then it's over.
The end.
The end. Okay, the third segment called Mrs. Potts has seasonal affectiveness disorder.
That is my first note. I'm like, oh, my mom has that. It's such a bummer.
And it's clearly genetic. Okay, so Mrs. Potts is sitting in the dining room, and they're like, you seem really down. She goes, the gray weather always makes me sad. Did the same to my mom.
But aren't you
Same
English?
to my dad.
Like, isn't it always rainy, cloudy?
French.
No, I know, but she's British.
I don't know. But pretty soon, she has seasonal affectiveness disorder. Like, the cold weather makes her sad. And she's like, well, the only nice thing is, like, being a teapot in cold weather is, like, people want tea all the time. And Belle's like, I'd love a cup. And she pours it, and she's like, I think you forgot something. And she's like, what? She goes, this is just warm water. You forgot the tea. And Mrs. Potts looks like if she was a human, she would have gone like a stupid. Like, she, like, loses it a little bit. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm so fucking dumb. And Belle's like, it's okay.
It's
like,
fine.
it's
No big
just-
deal.
we all make mistakes. And she's like, I just don't know what to do. Belle's like, go to my room. It's like warm in there, and like lay down. Do they need to sleep?
Well, the teacups go to sleep and be our guest, but then are woken up to dance and sing for Belle. So I don't know.
Who knows? So the castle has been leaking all night because it rained, and the Beast has been repairing the roof.
Okay, I'm sorry. He's a prince. Like, my dad is no prince. My dad is from, like, Brooklyn. Like, he doesn't get on the roof and repair the roof.
Of a
he
castle.
calls a roofer. What are you doing, Beast, repairing the roof? Don't you have people for that?
And, like, the Beast, who can, like, barely read or write, and, like, eats dishes, like, by, like, just handing them into his face. He, like, doesn't use silverware. It's like, oh, give me my hammer and my jackknife and my saw and some lumber. Like, what the fuck?
I'll figure this out. I'm smart, Beast. Like, no, you're not.
So basically, and also he was, like, uneducated and was transformed when he was a child. So, like, oh yes, I'm a prince. I know fencing, French, and carpentry.
He's no Harrison Ford.
He
doesn't know carpentry.
It knocked him out, and he's, like, dead to the world, asleep. And they're like, let him sleep.
Question. How asleep is he?
He's so asleep. We'll get to it. It's about, I think it's the next line.
I think it's coming. Oh, no. So the next is Chandelier magically can hear. She can hear perfectly
she can hear now.
fine.
And she's in a different room than the room she was in before. Terrifying. And so
Cogsworth sends a letter to someone who can predict the weather. Al Roker, I assume?
Because, like, they didn't have meteorology at this point. And so they decide they're going to throw a party for Mrs. Potts until, like, the weather turns. And they're like, you know, we'll get flowers and we'll get, like, a music and it'll be great. She can't eat, so I don't know why we're making a cake.
I don't think she can smell because water comes out her nose.
Oh, she's like, oh my god, she's a neti pot. And they're like, oh, and we're gonna, like, put the music together. They're like, but the master is sleeping. And Belle goes, a Mardi Gras couldn't wake him.
Okay.
What?
So,
what?
Assuming that this movie either happens once upon a time and far away or in a real time period, which
1740s.
We as the internet have deduced as, like, at the end of the 18th century, late 1700s. Mardi Gras doesn't start until 1840 in New Orleans, Louisiana.
And actually started in ancient Rome in 133 BC.
Just kidding. My facts are nothing. I know nothing, Jon Snow.
Oh no, the festival that it originated from started in that. It wasn't called Mardi Gras until the 1840s. There we go.
So Belle is a Time Lord? Belle is...
It makes sense.
Okay, great.
It
All right,
does.
it's canon.
Time Lord. And so they decide to go to Chef Bouche, which is French for mouth, and they're going to make a cake. And the oven mitts are tray-and-showed, which means very hot.
And one is blue, and one is red.
And they're husband and wife. They're like, your wife is an idiot. I'm like, they're married to oven mitts. Amazing. And so one of them is like, oh, well, Mrs. Potts' favorite cake is angel food. Oh, Lumiere says her favorite... No, Cogsworth says her favorite cake is angel food. And Lumiere says, no, it's devil's food. And they're arguing. They're like, we'll figure it out. This is just a side note, but it's something that irritates me. So Mrs. Potts walks, quote unquote, by hopping. Mm-hmm. And they always do this weird metallic noise. It sounds like metal. Okay, like this is the sound of ceramic. Like, it makes this sound. But they make it sound like this. Like it's metal hitting a cup.
She's hitting a metal pin against her mug. So.
Yeah, like...
And the castle's not metal. Mm-mm. It's brick, wood.
And it doesn't matter if she's inside, outside, on grass, on snow, on stone, on carpet. She makes that metallic tingy noise. And, like, it's so loud compared to the other, like, to them talking. It's like, oh my god, what are we doing today? Well, we're going around the castle, and I thought we'd go to the kitchen and we'd make a cake. And it's so irritating. It's so loud. So the tuba and the accordion are in practice. Lumiere's having them play a song which already exists, and Cogsworth is like, no. I'm going to write an original piece of music. He's, like, writing sheet music. He's, like, knows all these music terms. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Keep it in mind.
Yeah, no, I have a note about that.
So they're preparing the songs. So they're arguing over which cake they should do, what music they should do.
And the mixer is concerned about his job. Like, the mixer's concerned about job security. It's like, you've got job security.
You're good.
You're an enchanted object in an enchanted castle. Pretty much the only person hiring you is the beast. Like, what are you worried about?
Yeah. So Cogsworth and Lumiere decide to go to the greenhouse. What? And the greenhouse is attached to the castle. Like, they walk out of the greenhouse, like, not outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that wouldn't work. The humidity would rot the castle from the inside. That's why greenhouses are separate buildings. And also, y'all have roses and lilies in the dead winter snow? What the fuck? How? So they're like, her favorite flowers are lilies. No, her favorite flowers are roses. And so Mrs. Potts runs into them after they've made all the flowers and they're like, what are all the flowers for? And they're like, the master
He asked for
loves
them.
flowers. Remember how when Belle had a rose, he like nearly tore her face off? No, he now grows roses in our greenhouse, and they're his favorite.
And so they go to the West Wing, which I'm pretty sure was forbidden, but now, like, everyone just goes there.
All the time.
All the time. And they leave lilies for him.
At the foot of his bed.
Yep.
Roses
As you
and-
do.
So the kitchen staff is still arguing about what kind of cake to make, and Belle says what I thought they should have said. Step 1, 2-layer cake.
Ta-da.
Or 2 cakes.
Ta-da.
And also, who will be eating this cake? Belle and Beast are the only ones with mouths. Because if all of these anthropomorphic objects can eat, you need way more than one cake.
Uh-huh.
And if none of them can eat, making a cake seems kind of cruel.
Here's this cake. You can't eat it.
Rub your spout in it.
Shove.
Oh God. So Chip is like, oh, everyone's fighting all the time because the only person who can make everyone get along is my mom. And they're like, I know, and she's the person we need to cheer up.
It's so ironic.
Oh my God. So Cogsworth is writing music for instruments they don't have. He's like, and then the harp, and then the piano. They're like, we don't have a harp. And he's like, man, fucking flourish with the tuba, bitch. Like,
So this is one of my big pet peeves in movies, period, is when they talk about music, but it's completely incorrect on screen. So he's like, we'll go with an E sharp. I'm like, but you're in the key of C. What chord would demand an E sharp? Is my question.
And like the music, like what he's saying doesn't translate to sheet music. He's like, and then we'll have a grand crescendo, and then a movement, and then an applause, and then a finale. And like he's like, oh yes, of course, and just is like writing sheet music. I'm like, no,
Nope.
and like,
And also, it's just one staff. I'm like, you're just one staff of music is going to hold all of that information for all the different
and like
instruments.
even when he writes crescendo, there's no crescendo on the page. Like, music nerds. So Lumiere is like, well, fuck the lilies. I'm gonna make rose arrangements. But of course, Mrs. Potts runs into him, and they're like, we're gonna put those in the master's room. So now the master's room is just fucking full of flowers. And so the pigeon comes back with a note. We don't know what it says. They're like, oh, the note's back. That'll say something about the weather. No. So the beast is starting to wake up as Lumiere and Cogsworth are arguing over the music. They're trying to write together, and Lumiere, he opens the window to get the message from the pigeon. The wind blows, and it blows all of the sheet music into the fire.
Murder. And that's this episode's murder.
Welcome to my favorite sequel, murder. And he's like, you did that on purpose to burn our music because you want your song to get played. And he's like, no, I didn't. I opened the window for the pigeon and the wind fucking blew. Like,
He's like legit, genuine, like, oh no, dude, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Also, why are you writing music? Can't you just sing like, you're a teacup with the spout, hope you're feeling better, hope the sun comes out today and changes all the weather.
Did you pre-write these?
No, I just make them up.
Jesus Christ.
Oh
my God.
It's my useless superpower.
It is amazing. Oh my God. So, Lumiere goes to the kitchen and he's like, hey, oven mitt, we both know that she really wants some angel food cake. So, like,
Hook it up.
make your half bigger. And Cogsworth is like, hey, other oven mitt, we know what she really wants. Make it bigger. So Belle is talking to the armoire about like, oh my god, we're trying to put this all together, and we're not gonna have flowers, and we're trying to figure out the cake, and like da 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 da. And she's like, well, I'm gonna sneak into the beast room and like grab the flowers real quick. She somehow gathers every flower arrangement in her arms and is walking, and the beast like rolls over and like smacks and ruins every single one.
Every single flower.
Like they are bare stems. I'm
Just
like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Good thing he didn't get in your face. If Belle would have no face.
She would have had a Kylo Ren scar.
Oh, she would have been badass.
Yeah, and then she would have just walked around with high-waisted black pants
Up to her tits.
Up
just
to her
like,
tits.
I've changed.
I'm Kylo Belle. I'm Kylo Belle.
So the cake literally blows the door off the oven.
Which, ouch, Chef Boosh.
Yeah, and so Belle's like, okay, so this party will not have flowers or cake. Or Chip is like, there's gonna be no cake at the party. And Mrs. Potts is like, what party? It's like, god damn it, Chip.
Chip, you had one job. It was to shut up.
And so Belle sets Mrs. Potts by the fire. And she's like, I just like hate when everyone's fighting. And Chip's like, well, the party will cheer you up. And he's like, no, your mother's clinically depressed. And he's like, no party? But I want a party. I'm like, you're an asshole, Chip.
We planned a party as a big surprise.
And now it sucks. So they're like, well, fuck. We, like, fucked this all up for Mrs. Potts. So they all set aside their differences. And they have the cake and the music ready. And they're all happy together. And then the sun comes out. And Mrs. Potts is like, yay. Sunshine. And the beast wakes up. And he sees all the roses and lilies. And he sneezes.
And
sure glad he was here.
Yeah.
Because he was not at all involved in Fifi's folly.
Nope.
And in this one, he slept and hit some flowers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's called Belle's Magical World. Fuck the beast. He's barely here.
Just like, okay, for those of you buying Legos for yourself, if you buy the castle set of Legos, it's called Belle's Castle. I'm like, girl, she got in there, got her name on the deed, like that. She was like, hi, we're in love. Also, we're gonna need to change some, like, I need all of this in my name.
Now I get everything in the divorce.
Yeah. I was like, I'm mad, but also impressed. I'm both.
And so then we get another weird, unconnected song about, like, seeing things from another person's point of view called A Little Thought.
Okay, but I actually like this song.
Oh, I hated it more than the other.
And I liked it.
It's like, have a little thought, have a little faith, and we'll all be okay. Like, okay, I guess.
Be nice to each other, 'cause I'm your mother. Boop, boo, doo, 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 doo.
So the third and final segment is called Broken Wing. They really stretched their creativity when it came to writing the titles. Broken Wing, like on a bird.
Mrs. Potts Party, because it's about a party for Mrs. Potts.
The perfect word. Forgiveness.
There's just, what does that remind me of?
Hamilton. Can you imagine? Forgiveness. Yeah.
Yep, that was it.
Yep.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Lin-Manuel
Always here.
Miranda.
He's like, I'm pretty sure he's Jesus. I'm gonna go down with that ship.
I read a really interesting quote of his where they're like, bitch, you're doing too much. Like, you're doing so much shit. He goes, I'm gonna explain something to you. People think that, like, fame and, like, being famous and, like, well-known is like having a mushroom in Super Mario. Like, it bumps you up and you just get to, like, go forever. It's more like a gold star. You are invincible, but it is very temporary. Mm-hmm. And you know that, like, high-pitched music that, like, plays, like, your time's running out? He goes, that's what I hear in my head all the time. Because I'm just waiting for the star to run out. And maybe I'm doing too much, but I would rather do too much with this my star than be like, fuck, I only got 4 coins and a mushroom. Like, I'm like, Lynn, you're so smart.
Lynn,
Did you have some stumbles, like, Bring It On the musical? Yeah. But then you did Hamilton, so, like, you win.
And Moana, and I loved him in Mary Poppins.
I still haven't seen it. Dude, the last movie I saw in theaters was fucking Incredibles 2.
Boo-doo, boop, boo-doo.
Still haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Oh, Belle's in it.
Still haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse. I haven't seen Venom.
I haven't seen Venom either.
Anything.
I
see Avengers and Pixar movies. That's it. I'm so out of it. And Star Wars.
I just see Disney movies. Because your aunt can get you in for free. You know that?
Yeah.
So you
I
could just
don't
see
have
Disney
time.
movies. Oh yeah, that old thing. that little detail.
I have money. I just don't have time.
See, and I'm the opposite. I have zero money and now lots of time.
I know. I used to pirate everything, but now I'm like, it's so much effort. Like,
right? And you have to wait
hard.
for China to get it. I'm like, impatient.
Yeah. Okay, so the final segment, Broken Wing.
On the wings of love, up and above the clouds. This is a real song, though.
I know the song.
It's on the wings of love. I digress.
So the Beast is prepping for lunch with Belle. He's like, get flowers, music. I'm like, so you're just stealing Miss Potts' party.
Yeah, and
rude.
He's still calling her the girl. It's like, no, you know her name.
Yeah, because canonically, this is supposed to fall after the Christmas shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you know her name. It would
make more sense if this fell before the Christmas shit. Like, they've only been in the castle together for like a week. Like, it would fall together a lot better. Because, like, he's still pretty angry and violent.
Right. I would have loved to have
seen... This is like pre-wolf attack.
Isn't this This is post...
Yeah, it should. Yeah. It should be pre-wolf attack.
Yes. Like, the way he's acting. Oh! We broke it.
I'm okay.
But I always thought, like... I love the idea of having a Beauty and the Beast TV show, but it should be like him trying too hard, like wearing, I don't know why I figured like Tracy Morgan gold chains and like a big hat with a feather and being like, Mademoiselle. And the moral is like, just be yourself because I like you.
I thought you meant like in general he should be his character. I'm like,
no,
what the fuck?
I'm just saying like, there's potential to have a show here.
Because the whole show is the Beast is an asshole and Belle goes, I guess I can handle it again and again and again. Fuck, if I watch this TV show, I might think she has Stockholm Syndrome because the bitch is gaslit left, right, and center. Yeah.
Or I thought, you know the show Wishbone? It's a little dog.
Yes! Okay. Oh, I love Wishbone!
Now imagine that, but with Belle, of like every episode starts with like, oh, Belle, what are we reading today? Like, Jack and the Beanstalk or like some fairy tales. And it's like them, like all the characters, but like doing the thing. So like sometimes the Beast is the prince and it's cute and charming because they love each other. At other times he's like a goat. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was Disney, call me.
Yeah. Do it. The Beast has a tear in his cape and he says to Cogsworth like, yo, you were supposed to get this fixed last week. Are you losing control of your staff? And the Cogsworth like, no, I don't know why it wasn't fixed. So there's a little bird. He's flying around the castle, and he keeps getting like buffeted around by the wind, and he eventually gets like smacked into Belle's window. And Belle's in her room, and the armoire is like, no, really, the master's great. If you could just get look past his personality and his appearance and his manners and his hygiene and his taste in clothes and his complete lack of humor and his breath. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
She is a terrible wing woman.
I love her. And Belle opens the window because there's a little sad bird, and the armoire starts sneezing immediately. I'm like, oh, inanimate objects can have allergies. Good to know. That means she still has a sinus system.
So, all the questions.
See, this is why Beauty and the Beast can only be an hour and a half long, because the second you extend it longer, the logic of the universe falls in upon itself.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. So she's allergic to birds, and she's like, the Beast hates animals. And she's like, he is one.
Burn.
Also, he has a dog.
Right.
And a horse.
Does he have a horse? Well, now he has a horse. He's got Philippe.
Yeah, that's right.
And in the live action movie, he was excited or nervous to pet it, or he was petting it.
I don't know.
Oh, and then they were walking and talking at some point.
Yeah, but no, he hates animals. Like, he is one.
Okay.
And so she hears a knock at the door, and she hides the bird inside the armoire. The Beast nearly beats down her door. This is why I'm like, this has to be pre-wolves.
Right. Because he's acting ridiculous instead of being like, hey, I've chilled out a little. You're pretty cool. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, she's like, you will come to lunch with me. And she's like, oh, really? I'm fucking coming to lunch with you? And he's like, I mean,
will you please have lunch with me? Or do you have plans? And she's like, I hardly have plans. Like, no, bitch, I don't have plans.
Oh, no, I'm actually having it with the King of Spain. Duh.
Jennifer's coming over, and we're going to do, like, our facial thing. And then Lydia's coming over.
And, like, Real Housewives. It'll be great.
We're going to do a Mary Kay party.
And so Cogsworth is like, oh, well, yeah, she should come to lunch with you because you're the master. The master gets to do whatever he wants with his lunch. And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, get your tongue out of his ass. Like,
enabler.
And so the armoire is just sneezing up a storm because the bird is inside her. Horrifying implication.
Ooh. That just got gross.
Yep. And the beast is like, I smell something. I'm like, the fuck? And Belle's like, nope, nothing. And he's like, oh, well, go away. And Belle's like, how could he hate this little bird? And the armoire's like, because it's beautiful and lovely and sweet. Everything he's not. I'm like, God damn, Armoire!
She's savage.
You're rude! And so the bird has a little broken wing. And so Belle makes it a splint. And they're feeding him water from the teacup. They're pouring a bath over him from Mrs. Potts. And he's just like, I'm a bird and I'm loving it. So Cogsworth has all the dishes and silverware like lined up like little army soldiers. He's like, this dinner will be amazing, and we all will be amazing, and the food will be great, and you'll all be in order. And like Lumiere's chasing Fifi, and like the forks are like sword fighting, and the plates are spinning around, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, get it together. The cutlery's cutting up, the dishes won't do my wishes, and even the goose pate won't obey. I'm like, okay, Dr. Seuss. And so Mrs. Potts basically like blows her whistle. I'm like, she's a teapot, not a tea kettle. She can't whistle like that.
True.
And she's like, everybody do your jobs. And they're like, okay, we love you. And Cogworth's like, the fuck? And she's like, you have to be nice to them.
They listen to me.
I wonder what the message of this episode's gonna be.
Pizza.
They're not telegraphing it at all.
Like that they're not even spoon feeding you the moral. They're like shoving it down your throat.
This is the message. So the beast is pacing around waiting for Belle. And lunch was at noon exactly, noon sharp, noon o'clock. It's 12:07. Belle is running late.
Maybe she thought it was at night.
No, he yells that so loud, and the music is so dramatic. Oh my god, I have to drop it in right here.
I am hungry. Perhaps she thought I meant 12 midnight or light.
He yells so loud for no reason. So Belle is still taking care of the bird, and the baby's like, I'm hungry! And so he goes to get her, and he walks in, and Belle's like trying to hide the bird behind her, and the beast just goes chasing it through the castle. He's going to smash this bird with his fist. Like,
because the theme of this movie is murder.
He's like stomping his feet. He's literally trying to murder this bird.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you have to get rid of it. And she's like, no. And the bird goes down the stairs. The beast falls head over ass, slams his head on the ground, and cold knocks himself out.
Yeah.
The saddest music plays, and Belle's like, Beast, wake up! I'm like, did they like just steal this for like when he dies? Like, what the fuck?
They just had extra Paige O'Hara being amazing, and they were like, copy paste.
And so the bird starts like singing like, ding dong, bitch is dead. And the bird song wakes the beast up, and he like looks up, he's like, it's beautiful. I'm like, is he concussed? I think he is.
The bird song is mediocre at
and
best.
He's like,
it's okay.
The bird will never leave now. I'm going to put it in a cage and it will sing only for me. And Belle's like, you can't do that. He's like, I do what the fuck I please.
But get it? It's a metaphor. Because he put her in a cage and he's in a cage and now the bird's in a cage.
Cageception. So the dishes still won't listen to Lumiere because they're trying to reschedule the lunch to dinner. And...
Although, actually, I thought that B story was cute. Cogsworth's little, like, I'm gonna be militant. And it's like, no, be nice. And then people will like you.
Nope. And so he, like, sends the silverware to the silverware drawer, which is a punishment, apparently. They're like, you don't get to get eaten with. It's like, oh, no, I don't get to go in their mouths. Like, what? Is it a reward or a punishment to be used? Ooh. So the bird in the cage won't sing. And the beast is just, like, yelling at it. Like, sing! Sing for me!
Nope.
And the bird won't sing and also doesn't speak English or French. So Cogsworth is like, maybe you have to sing first. And the beast goes, you sing. And Cogsworth goes, I know nothing about music.
But,
he wrote an entire concert.
Yeah, he did.
Like sheet music and...
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the Cogsworth tries to sing. He's a horrible singer. Never mind, he sings in Be Our Guest and is perfectly fine.
Right. And it's David Ogden Stier who sings as Radcliffe and is he's lovely and charming and rest in peace.
And he's like, I am a bad singer. And so the beast is like, I'll sing. And he doesn't sing. He just like hums. He's like, ha, 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 ha. And the bird is like, I don't fucking like this shit. And so Beast is like, go get Belle. Belle will sing. Belle will make the bird sing. So much. So Belle is looking at the birds outside, like, they're free, unlike me and my bird friend. And Cox is like, come inside. And she's like, I'm busy. And he's like, come inside anyway. And she's like, okay.
She really sticks to her guns.
What? Huh?
To be fair, like, what is there to do in the castle? It's like, well, I read a book, and then I've walked in the snow, and now I'm drinking tea, and that's it. That's it.
Yep. So he's really unhappy because the bird won't sing, and Belle's like, it won't sing because it's in a cage. And he's like, it will only sing for me. Those are my orders. She's like, it's a bird. It doesn't understand or care about orders. Stupid. So the whole castle's depressed because everybody's mad and yelling about the bird. And the Beast takes the bird up to the West Wing, and you think he's about to, like, smash this
And then
bird.
he eats the bird. The end.
He just shoves it into his mouth hole, bones and all, like an Orlan, swallows it all. No, he doesn't just open the cage door. He rips the cage, like, he just rips a hole out of it.
Which, like, can someone establish his strength? Because I don't understand, like, Gaston and him were, like, fighting.
And evenly matched.
Yeah, evenly matched because Gaston is buff, and I'm sure, like, Beast is not exactly working out, but he's also Beast. So, like, but then he's just like, metal, I shall rip it.
And so he has the bird in his hand, and you literally think he's about to just, like, close it and squish. And he's like, it's time. I'm like, oh, fuck. And he goes, to take your splint off and see if your wing is better. I'm like, what the fuck? Also, it's been a day. Like, so he takes the splint off, and Cogsworth is like, hold on to the bird, it'll fly away. And he's like, no, look, he trusts me. Look. And he, like, throws the bird out the window, and the bird's like, I'm falling, and just starts to fall. But it, like, just hits the roof. It's okay. And the Beast is like, oh, no, and goes, like, flying out of the window to save this bird, which is fine. And Cogsworth is, like, clinging to his cape, and the bird, like, he gets the bird in one hand, and the Beast goes sliding down the roof. Like, he's about to fall. Cogsworth is, like, holding onto the edge of his cape, which starts ripping. He's like, oh, fuck, I still didn't get this fixed.
And the moral of that story is always do your chores or you will die.
Always get your cape fixed. And so Belle sees all of them dangling from the roof. A lot of people dangling, and Belle having to rescue them. And so she gets, like, the whole castle staff outside. So the Beast pulls himself up. He's somehow fine. But the cape rips, and he's like, Cogsworth is, like, hanging from a scrap of the cape from the roof, and he's like, my time has run out! Because he's a clock.
Puns are happening.
He falls,
Yay.
and he's like, oh no, how time flies! And they've, of course, like, thrown out a little sheet, and they catch him, and he's like, you saved me, but I was being so mean. They're like, yeah, but not enough to kill you. We're not monsters.
We're not Fifi over here.
And so they're like, well, let's have lunch. And Cogsworth is being way nicer to the staff. And Belle looks out the window. She's like, oh, look, the bird. And the bird has a girlfriend. And Belle and the Beast go stand by the window, and they look at the bird. And then it's over.
Yep.
The book closes.
Yep.
No song.
No.
You think they'd end with one of the segments with a song?
Yeah. The end the movie with a song.
Nope. They look at a bird. And it's
Bird,
over.
bird. Bird
Bird is
is
the
the word.
word. What's the perfect word? It's bird.
Full circle. Now it's come full circle. And
that's it.
Yeah.
It's such a non-linear plot. Even from segment to segment, the conclusion was like, and then nobody died. And then they had a part. Like, what? It's so non-connected. And again, if this is an episode and, like, episode of the week, it would have been perfectly fine. But as a movie, it's so badly functional.
Mm-hmm. And yet, I still watch it. Like, again, more Belle and more mediums, I'm fine with. I feel like I said, like, the potential is there to, like, because you know how in Aladdin you would have episodes that were about Princess Jasmine in the castle, and you'd have episodes that were, like, buddy adventures with, like, Genie and with the Beast and Aladdin.
Or how about the crossover episodes with Hercules?
Oh, preach, girl! I love the Hercules TV show.
It never gets any love.
No, and Lindsay Ellis's review of Hercules is perfect because I could never figure out why I almost like it, but it's the tone of it's comedy, and then Meg's bones have been crushed.
It's like,
yeah,
fuck.
Susan Egan deserved better.
Okay, so now to wrap up, Favorite quote from the original, best quote from the sequel. Favorite quote from the original is anything Gaston says. I don't like when girls read. It makes them smart and they think about shit.
It's not right for a woman to read. Soon she starts getting ideas and thinking.
Gaston, you are positively primeval.
Why, thank you, Belle.
That's the quote, right?
Yeah, that's word for word.
It.
Linda Wolverton is like, yes, girl, represent my words. Yes.
Yeah.
Mine's cheesy and it will be forever. It was my senior quote. Because I was born in a little tiny town. Is
There must be more than this provincial life.
Oh!
because I has dreams.
Oh!
So, cheese.
Have you seen that cartoon where it's like, there goes the baker with his trays, like always, the same old bread and loaves of salt. Bitch. I'm a baker. I feed the fucking town. We're in France and I make bread. I'm a god.
Then she goes back to Maurice and she's like, oh, they were singing a really mean song about me. And he's like, yeah, I heard them rehearsing last week. I was wondering what that was for.
Fuck your bread. You can starve, bitch.
Yeah. She's very svelte. Maybe she doesn't eat bread.
I don't do carbs. That's why they hate her. She's a French girl who doesn't eat carbs. It's like an Italian who doesn't eat pasta. I'm like, the fuck? Something's broken.
She's broken. That's my favorite from the original.
And your favorite / worst quote from the sequel.
Okay, I picked a favorite because I think it's charming. It's
Speech? Surely you'll simply say what's in your heart.
Madame, you cannot know much about women.
Monsieur, I know a little.
I love it.
I think mine is just like the pun off basically that Cogsworth is doing as he falls to his death.
I wonder if you have the time. Might you be able to save us as well?
In a minute, Cogsworth.
Oh, no problem. Really, I wasn't going anywhere. It would seem my time has run out.
My, how time flies.
Oh, it's so cheesy. All right, where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram at the Broadway Belle, Belle, and on Twitter at the Bway Belle because I don't have enough characters. And that's it. That's me.
Cool.
I'm obsessed with Belle.
She is Michelle the Broadway Belle. So you can find us everywhere. We are on Instagram, Twitter, Patreon. We have our own website. Check it out.
It's really nice.
Thank you. And we have a bunch of episodes lined up for this year. I'm so excited. I've got pretty much guests lined up through November of this year. I'm getting my shit done ahead of time, so things will hopefully be a little more reliable, a little more predictable. If you have requests on stuff you want to see, let me know. Email, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, direct message, carrier pigeon.
Witherspoon.
Witherspoon, the pigeon spoon. I don't know what that was. And as always, we will see you next month. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the Stupid Sequels podcast. Please subscribe and review so everyone can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Twitter at StupidSequels2 or email us at stupidsequelspodcast@gmail.com. Every episode is made possible by our sound engineer, Francisca Codd. Our logo was designed by Nicole Wiseman at Wise Shots, and you can find me online at Callie Blair on Twitter and pretty much everywhere else. And remember, even though these movies are stupid, deep down, we really love them.